Have you ever had one of those moments where you stop in the middle of life? Not the peaceful moments, not the quiet ones, but right in the middle of the chaos and think, Lord, I don't even know how we made it through that, but thank you. That's exactly where I'm standing today. My son's birthday was last week, and every year his birthday, just like my daughter's, stops me in my tracks. It brings me right back to the journey that God walked me through, not just to bring him into the world, but to bring me through fear, grief, surrender, and finally, joy. And since this is our last episode of the year, what better way to close out this season than with the testimony that completed the miracle we began talking about back in episode 10. Welcome back to Making Encouragement in Chaos. I'm Susan Rayner, pastor's wife, homeschool mom, small business owner, and your friend in the messy, beautiful, unpredictable middle of faith and life. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've been with me through the emotional roller coaster of this past season, thank you. Truly, I do thank God for you. All right, so let's dive in. In episode 10, I told the story of my daughter, my first tangible miracle, the promise, the waiting, the heartbreak, the fulfillment. And if you haven't listened to that, I do recommend that you go back and you listen to that before you finish today's episode and then come back to this one so you know exactly what's going on. But it's your choice. Some people like to do things out of order. I am a very ordered person, but you do as you feel. But before my son came along, there was a chapter that broke us in ways I still struggle to put into words. In 2013, we lost a baby boy at 21 weeks. That kind of loss, it changes you. You don't stop believing God. I never did. But that verse in Psalm 147:3, He healeth the broken in heart, it felt almost impossible at the time. Not because I believed He couldn't, but because my heart had not yet healed enough to receive that promise. I wasn't doubting God's power. I was hurting too deeply to imagine healing. And we'll talk about this in a later episode. It'll be around February of next year when I'll bring this back up because that's when everything happened. And I would love to share my story. In the meantime, if you want to go check it out, it is on my blog, The Pain of Unanswered Prayers. You can go and read the whole story there. But a minister showed up at our church. The same minister that had prophesied about our daughter came to visit again. And this time, during one of the hardest seasons of ministry we had ever faced, and he said, God has seen the desires of your husband's heart. It will be a boy, and he will be called into the ministry. I shut down instantly, not because I didn't trust God, but because my heart had already buried a child. Hope felt dangerous. I said, no, that prophecy cannot be for us. It's got to be for somebody else. It is not for us. I'm just saying, it's not for us. But my husband felt it. The minister felt it. I was the only one hiding behind fear. And for a long while, I stayed there. When we moved back to Tennessee in 2015, that prophecy came with us. But I kept it locked tight, zipped up. I wasn't going to go towards it. I wasn't going to think about it. I just didn't want to believe it. But a year passed, and then something shifted. My nephew was born, and holding him brought back every maternal instinct, every longing, every tenderness I had tried so hard to bury. And then in 2016, we found out we were pregnant. Joy hit. Fear hit harder. It was a constant tug of war between, thank you, Lord, and, oh, God, please don't let this end in heartbreak again. Every heartbeat I heard brought relief. Every doctor's appointment came with whispered prayers. Every flutter made me thank Him, even through tears. But then suddenly I started spotting around 6 months, and fear came back roaring like a loud wave flooding over me, and I was scared. The doctor said the baby looked fine, but I was placed on bed rest. And listen, anybody that knows me, they know that bed rest is sanctification by fire. It breaks every bit of independence you think you have. I couldn't clean, I couldn't organize, I couldn't stay busy to escape my thoughts. I had to sit with myself and with God. And in that stillness, He gently started peeling back the fear. I remembered the verse from Psalm 56:3. What time I am afraid, I will trust in Thee. Not as a bold declaration, but as a whisper, a reminder, a place to steady trembling faith. And eventually I whispered it back to Him. Okay, Lord, I receive it. It wasn't loud, it wasn't bold, but it was real. As the pregnancy went on, doctor's visits became more frequent. By month 8, I was going twice a week. It was exhausting. And finally, a C-section was scheduled the day before our anniversary. I tried so hard to get them to move it. I was like, can we do it earlier, or can we do it later? And they were like, nope, we're not doing it early. We want them to do the full 40 weeks, and this is the day that it's going to be. And wouldn't you know it, that very morning I go in for the C-section, I wake up having contractions. My mom, my husband, and the Tray Day tribe all came with us to the hospital. It was so much fun. It felt like a holy march. This little parade of people that had been praying, believing, and holding their breath with us. And then He was there. A healthy baby boy, my little man, my second tangible miracle. And this time, the room wasn't filled with fear. This time, the tears were pure relief. During the procedure, they attempted to tie my tubes but couldn't. Months later, a specialist looked at my chart and said, frankly, I'm surprised you were able to even have children at all. One tube was mangled. One tube was too short, and there was no medical explanation. And right there, the verse came to mind, with God, all things are possible, from Matthew 19:26. 2 miracles, both medically impossible, but both divinely intentional. One of the sweetest parts of this testimony isn't just how he was born, but how God began stirring his heart so young. In one service, he sat next to his grandmother and he started crying. He whispered, I have feelings. He didn't know how to articulate the presence of God, but he felt him. And in another time, in a service that we'd gone to visit in Texas, while I was singing during an altar service, he started crying again, not in sadness, but because his heart was tender to God. And I thought, Lord, you're already doing in him what you said you would do. The prophecy wasn't just about birth, it was about calling. And even today, you could tell the Lord is still working on him. He loves the Lord, and he says church is his favorite place to be. So this is episode 12, our final episode of the year. And I want to leave you with one more verse that has shaped this season for me. Psalm 37:5. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. From testimonies to tears, from chaos to calling, from sourdough starters to spiritual growth, you have been here through all of it. So let me say what is in my heart. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and thank you, truly. I'm taking a short break for the holidays, so season 2 begins on January the 14th. Until then, wherever this episode finds you, enjoy exhaustion, celebration, or waiting. Remember this: fear is a liar. God is faithful, and miracles still happen. Before we go, if today's episode encouraged you, if it reminded you of God's goodness or helped you breathe a little easier, would you share it with a friend? Your shares truly help this little podcast reach women who need encouragement right in the middle of their own chaos. Don't forget that you can also follow along on Instagram or Facebook or visit makeandmaking.com for more hope-filled posts. And if you want a little midweek lift, don't forget to sign up for the Stay Rooted email. I'd love to encourage you there too. As always, remember I'm praying for you, even if I don't know who you are. Merry Christmas to you all, and I will see you in the new year. God bless.